So I'm just going to explain what the animation contemplate and where you can find it. So basically you can go to my ArtStation and then you just hit this Anim contemplate and tools. Basically it contains tools. It contains a full animation template with modular layers and everything already in place. And if you click on this link, you're gonna end up here. You get an example frame with some AOVs inside, documentation, the template itself, plus the only script that you can install if you want, which is AOV Crackout. Check what's next in this video to learn what it's capable to do. So here we go, I've opened the test frame, which I think I've put the camera with it also. Yeah, you actually get the camera it was rendered from. And I'm going to show you how to use the template. Here are the tools that I've added but that are not in the flow. And here is just a space for your cam and some geo, in case you're doing some CG inside of Nuke. Please ignore that. It's not in the file you'll get anyway. So this is the first layer, and basically these two I'm not going to cover. They're just modular layers that are this one, the same as this one, but with different names and colors. After the layers you got postfix, which are the modifications that we put on all the layers at the same time. Then the comp out, which is just the outright, okay, of your comp. Plus on the side you get a compare tool, which is just a way of seeing quickly the differences between your current version, like what you're working on, versus the other shots of the sequence, versus references that you could get or have, versus the old versions of your comp that you have to import through a RAID. So basically we'll cover most of that in this video, but all the nodes, like the nodes that I created or incorporated to this template, are not going to be covered in this video. I'll make a separate video. So here we go. The goal is that all the red nodes that you see on top here are going to be replaced. They're placeholders. So we have two placeholders for cryptomats here, and one for the AOVs, one for the beauty. So right now I have one beauty that has been calculated, rendered with all the AOVs or integrators, you can call them both names. They've been rendered in the same XR. So basically everything is here. So I'm just going to connect AOVs and beauty on the same image because everything is inside. Otherwise I will have one beauty and one AOV. So what is convenient is that once you've done that, everything is connected. Like for example, I have some masks on the side here, 3 kinds of different masks that I use all the time. So basically all the reads have a project format after it. It's just a reformat node, and you have one also in the cryptomat, for example, here. The goal of that is to always work in your project final resolution format. Why? Because we want to avoid weird resolutions, cryptos that have different sizes than our beauty renders, which can be annoying, or what else? Rotos that are going to be in a different size that our renders, etc., etc. So my technique is to always have a reformat after each read, so I don't even ask myself the question, and I'm always working in my project format that I set up to be the final one. Then we have a contact sheet, nothing fancy about it, it's just a contact sheet. If I hit one, I can just see here that I have all my AOVs inside my EXR. Plus what I added to this node is just the metadata. So we have some metadata here to avoid creating a metadata node, but that's just it. Here we have it's actually a remove, and it's just keeping the RGBA, so it's a clean beauty without all these AOVs that we see here. Okay, this is more or less the same nodes, but it has a text selection pattern. It's a Nukepedia remove node, and it allows me to keep every AOV that I need that are named with this name. So if I branch this to this, you'll see that I only have kept RGBA as it's mentioned here, LGT lights. That's why you have to be careful with your naming in lighting, because look, all my lights are named LGT, and because of that I will be able to write LGT here in this node, and that's going to keep only what's called LGT and remove all the other AOVs. So why do we do that? Because it actually takes memory to have a lot of AOVs here, so we want to work only with the AOVs that are necessary in our flow. It's called AOV stripping. Anyway, let's continue. So this is the AOV crackout. It shuffles out all my AOVs that are called LGT here, and it's merging them back to one image here, and then it copies the alpha of the original beauty here back. It also adds unpremults and premults, but I personally don't use them often because, let me show you something. In this node there is something that I forgot to mention. You have a disable unpremult option, which is checked by default, and basically it's just activating an unpremult all AOVs. See? So yeah, I don't use the ones from the AOV crackout. That's it for the beauty rebuild. Then you have a small area to do your color correction, like more globals. I just created this node that is basically an exposure plus a grade plus a color correction. Nothing fancy. I just like to have them grouped in one node. So that's why it's called CC Global. Then we have an Atmo node, which creates a fake Atmo from the Z mask. It will be in a separate video. Then we have the end switch, which is, like its name says, the end of the color correction. This node allows me, so firstly, to switch between my beauty and my color correction. It's just a simple connection and a switch. It allows me to strip the AOVs again and keep RGBA only, but I can uncheck it if I want to keep my AOVs in the stream. This is just a remove inside the node. This node has actually nothing incredible inside it. It's just to gain time. Alpha copy is taking the alpha from the beauty and re-injecting it inside my flow. There is also a premult inside it. Remember, there was an unpremult here, and it was unpremulting all my AOVs. And here I can enable the same thing for a premult. So here, if I hit that, it will premult all my AOVs by the beauty alpha. Here we have a black lamp, so we don't have values at 0, so we don't create mathematical aberrations, and a white lamp, just so we don't hit values that are completely crazy, even in ACs or any other color space. What you should know is that after that, because it's called color correct and switch, it's not supposed to be color corrections. From here it's just defocus, bloom, blurs, anything that could affect your alpha directly will be done here. You might wonder what's this layer on the left. It's just a beauty layer of volumetric renders. Like if you have done your volumetric in CG, you can input them here in this read, and the Atmo node is done for being able to switch between a fake Atmo and this volumetric. We are almost done for this layer, so then we have a light wrap. It's the BM light wrap from Nukepedia, which is way better than a simple light wrap because it's progressive. Then we have a merge. Please note that there is an edge blur incorporated to both these nodes because I love to blur just a tad my edges when I put a layer on top of another one. Other than that, you have the classical merge operation. This just allows you to keep RGBA and kill any other AOVs so we don't have them in the flow. And you can disable the reformat node in case you don't want it to be scaled at your project format, because inside of this, yes, there is actually a crop and a project format, which allows us to keep the bounding box clean. And to end the layer, we have a pre-comp. So it's in read file by default. So if you want to switch to your pre-comp calculation, you just have to do that. Then we have the out dot. Why is there a dot? It's to be able to easily connect a layer to another by copy and pasting them. You see here I just have to select the backdrop and I select the entire layer. So that's it, and the two other layers are pretty much the same. We're going to go through the BG. Basically you have a switch here and it allows you to switch between matte projection. There is just some cards and a read at the top, and here is just a node that I like that allows you to create quick gradients, so you can just basically switch between the two of them. This is just to put the beauty, it's already connected to my beauty, on top of my matte, just like that. Basically it's just for test, it's just a merge. The CC Global, we already talked about it. This one is more or less the same node than this one. And that's it. That's the BG. At the bottom, we find post-FX, which are just basically a sharpen, a camera shake, a lens distortion, grain, vignette, bloom, a chromatic, this kind of thing that we do over all the image and not layer by layer. It should affect everything, then it's here. Then we have a final CC, color correction, which is very simple. It's just, again, to clean the AOVs. You see, we repeat the same process on all layers. And just a write with a simple info. So you'll see this note here and here, VB info. It's a simple note that I created to be able to write quickly the name of the file plus the current frame. You see the frame changing here when I move the timeline. I can frame hold a certain frame. We can disable the reformat inside. It's the same that what we've seen before. You can put the title on, timecode on, and inside title and timecode you have options for the color, the font. Everything is just grouped in one node, but basically it's text node. And here is just a reformat, because sometimes you work so much on a comp that you just lose the composition and what you're doing. In the end, we have the final write, and on the right side we have just the compare. So it's basically the node that I just shown you, some reads that are supposed to be different versions of your comp or references. Here I've put a switch where I can switch in between a version that I update here and my current comp. So basically it's just linked to the end of my comp. The compare at the end allows you to quickly, I have nothing in this read, so it's black, but it's going to quickly allow you to see your different version in a contact sheet, and you have a write at the end. Yeah, that's it. Basically, that's the com templates. And thank you for downloading it, using it, and testing it. I will see you in another video where I will explain some other tools that are here and go more in details about these masks that are on the side.